Welcome to the Bay. All right, NVIDIA's brand new Blackwell architecture is officially here, and that means two absolute monsters have just docked, the RTX 5090 and the RTX 5080. If you're planning a new high-end build, let's be real, the choice between these two is probably the single biggest decision you're going to make.
So that's the big question, right? This isn't just about grabbing the most powerful card money can buy. No, this is a builder's quest to find the perfect engine for your specific rig, the games you play, and of course, your wallet. So let's navigate these waters together.
Here's our sea chart for today's voyage. First, we'll cover the arrival of these new flagships. Then, we'll see how they stack up in a true clash of the titans. We're going to dive deep into gaming performance, peek under the hood at the specs, talk about the price of all that power, and finally, help you find the right harbor for your build. Okay, let's get right into it. The arrival of the Blackwell architecture, this really does signal a new era. We are talking about massive generational leaps in performance, especially when it comes to things like ray tracing and AI-powered tech. These are not just small incremental upgrades, they are setting a completely new standard. And that is exactly why this decision is so personal. Are you trying to build a no-compromise, everything maxed out 4K dream machine? Or are you building a smarter, high-value rig that just punches way, way above its weight? The right answer really depends on the journey you're planning. So, let's formally introduce our two contenders, shall we? In one corner, you have the undisputed king, the beast, the RTX 5090. And in the other, you have the incredibly capable high-end all-arounder, the RTX 5080. They share that same Blackwell DNA, but as you're about to see, they are very different animals. At its core, the 5090 is, well, it's the unrivaled king of performance. If you want the absolute, undisputed best, especially for heavy ray tracing or intense AI work, this is your card. End of story. The 5080, on the other hand, is that versatile all-rounder. It delivers incredible high-end performance for 1440p and really excellent 4K gaming, but without that extreme price tag. Now for the part everyone's been waiting for. How do these cards actually perform when the rubber meets the road? You know, specs on paper are one thing, but frames per second on the high seas of your favorite games, that's what really matters. And wow, this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? In standard rasterization at 4K, the 5090 is already a massive 30 to 50% faster. But just look at what happens when you flick on ray tracing and let DLSS 4 do its thing. That gap widens to a staggering 60 to 70%. That's a whole different class of performance. It's not even close. So what do those percentages actually translate to in-game? Well, in Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, that's a 45 FPS difference. In a competitive shooter like Warzone, you're looking at a 75 FPS advantage. These are not small numbers, folks. This is a tangible, absolutely game-changing uplift that you will feel instantly. Okay, so where is all this extra power coming from? Let's pop the hood and navigate the spec sheets, because the architecture under there really tells the story of why these two cards, while both Blackwell, are truly in different leagues. Just look at this. The 5090 is absolutely stacked. We're talking double the VRAM at 32 gigs, a doubled 512-bit memory bus, and nearly double the CUDA cores. But, and for any builder, this is a big but, look at that power draw. 575 watts. That means you're going to need at least a 1,000-watt power supply and some serious case cooling. The 5080, meanwhile, is much more manageable at 360 watts. Performance is one thing, but we all know that for any build, the final reckoning comes down to cost. All that power comes at a price, and in this showdown, the difference here is just as dramatic as the performance gap. And yeah, the price difference is, well, it's stark. The RTX 5090 is coming in at around $2,000, while the RTX 5080 is targeting a much more accessible, though still premium, $999. To put that into perspective, you could build an entire high-end PC for the price of the 5090 alone. So, if we break it down by pure value, by bang for your buck, the story becomes crystal clear. The RTX 5080 gives you significantly more performance for every single dollar you spend. For builders who are carefully balancing that budget to maximize every frame, this metric is king. And hey, that's the consensus. Don't just take my word for it. Our source for this deep dive, bestgpusforgaming.com, puts it plainly. For most people, the RTX 5080 is simply the better pure value option. It gets you into that amazing Blackwell ecosystem with phenomenal performance without demanding that you sacrifice your entire wallet.
Now we've really just scratched the surface of the data here. There are tons more games, more resolutions, and deep analysis of things like 1% lows.
So for the full, comprehensive breakdown, we highly recommend you go check out the source material for this whole analysis over at bestgpusforgaming.com. They have all the raw data you could possibly want to geek out on.
All right, let's reel it all back in. We've seen the performance, we've looked at the specs, we've talked about the price. Now it's time to dock all this information and guide you to the right harbor for your specific build.
So to make this simple, let's think about what kind of build captain you are. Are you the all-out 4K enthusiast who demands the absolute best? Or maybe the price-aware gamer who wants incredible performance without breaking the bank? Or are you the AI and creator power user who needs all the VRAM you can get?
Here's the bottom line. If you are that 4K enthusiast with zero compromises who wants the absolute best path tracing experience possible, your harbor is the RTX 5090. If you're the price-aware gamer who still wants an incredible 4K and high-refresh 1440p experience, you dock your build with the RTX 5080. And finally, for the AI and creator power users, that 32 gigs of VRAM on the 5090 makes it the undeniable, clear-cut choice.
So there you have it. Two absolutely incredible GPUs, two very different price points, and two very distinct destinations. The final choice, as always, comes down to your goals, your budget, and your vision for your ultimate rig.
But hey, the conversation doesn't stop here. We'd love to hear what you decide. Let us know which way you're leaning and show off your new build plans by joining the discussion over in our Discord. Keep it cool and keep building.